Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Ed's Garage. It's been quite a while since I had a video that I posted. Had some small jobs. About 10 days ago, I had a locked up wheel on my wife's Buick LaCrosse, but that turned out to be just replace a brake caliper on the right rear, and I think there's plenty of videos out to replace a brake caliper. So right now I have one. I wanted to film a little bit of an introduction, give you some background on the project for today. I don't know if this will wind up in a full video, for the reason I'm going to a friend's shop that is very generous and helps me out, and I need a little bit of help on an issue here with my 2008 Yukon XL Denali. The issue that I have is I am chasing a service suspension soon code on the dash. Excuse me, it's early morning. I did try and troubleshoot it. The code is a C0590:04, which I don't recall the exact words, if it's an open or a high resistance, but it has to do with the shock dampener from the magnetic ride control. It's got to do with the shock dampener on the right rear. So the first step in the service data is to connect your scan tool, hook up a test light to the wires, activate or actuate the damper, and it should illuminate the test light. When I pulled out my Altel, I believe it's a MS906BT, and I went and did that, I came back with an error message that said something like exceeds device limit. I then went and checked all three other dampeners, and I got the same exact error message. However, if I wanted to go and actuate, say, the load leveling air compressor, that would work fine. So I don't know if I have a scan tool issue, where the Altel isn't properly communicating to that function on what I assume is the BCM, or might I have a large wiring or a module issue with the electronic suspension control module, which is underneath the spare tire. So long story short, I probably have to be underneath the car with the spare tire removed, testing connections to the electronic suspension control module. I probably need another scan tool, where my buddy Phil has a GM Tech 2, and I think with all the updates and adapters he has, it has full functionality for this 2008 Yukon XL. And it'd be nice to have a lift where the truck is 6 feet in the air, and I am not laying on a cold garage floor, because today is February 28th, and as you can see, we've had some winter lately, and spending hours and hours laying on a cold concrete floor isn't something that seemed real appealing to me. So I'm off. I got about a 45-minute ride to my buddy's shop, Sam's Euro-Asian Domestic in Brookfield. We'll have some coffee and donuts, get this baby up on the lift, and we'll start digging in and figuring out what this is about. It won't be a step-by-step, but as we go through things, I'll ask Phil and his boys, and if they don't have a problem, I'll naturally go and shoot a little update and give you some progress so you know what we did and what steps we're taking going forward. So that's it for now. We'll be back online once we have this baby up in the air. Bye. I wanted to add a pertinent piece of data to this as we're going to troubleshoot it. These shocks were all refreshed 2.5, 3 years ago. I went and replaced everything with Delco OEM MRC struts up front, and the MRC load leveling shocks in the rear. So while it's possible that I have a damper problem on my right rear shock, since they're only 2.5 years old and 33,000 miles. That's probably not my top suspect. So just a little data point I wanted to share. And again, next show will be up on the lift. Bye. Okay, it's up on the alignment rack, ready to go. And the one thing I didn't mention is 146,000 miles. Okay, so the diagnosis is complete. I tried shooting a video at the shop to run through what all happened, but evidently I screwed up and was taking a still shot instead of a video. So in summary, what we went through is, first, when we connected the Tech 2 scanner, we had a very similar problem that it would not actuate the right rear damper, but the Tech 2 would then come up and explain in the same screen that once there is a fault present, it cannot run any dampener test. So that let us know it's just a limitation of the system, where my Altel just came up and said device limits exceeded, and I didn't know how to interpret that. So once we knew we couldn't do what service data tells you is test 1, which is actuate the damper, what we had to do was go and clear the code. And then what Ryan did was, we went and took ohm readings going across the shock, and those were bouncing all over the place. We would read as low as 0.5, get up as high as 300, 400, and I think that the specified range was something like 0.7 to 3.5, but we were all over the place. And then finally, what really made it conclusive for us was Ryan cleared the code, put a jumper wire in there so the system thought it was talking to the shock through the damper, and went through all the functional tests then, and everything worked perfectly. So as soon as we took that shock out of the equation, the whole system cleared up and it worked. So at that point in time, we were convinced we need to replace that shock. And if I recall, I'm driving again now, but I believe the GM part number for this truck with 18-inch wheels is 591-1095. So we went and looked that up, and the local dealer did not have it. It could come from the Chicago GM warehouse, but Phil's shop cost on it would be roughly 150% of what Rock Auto sells it for if I can wait a couple of days. So Rock Auto's cost on that shock, I think, was $289, and then I'll probably pay 15 to 20 bucks on shipping, and changing one of these shocks is a 20-minute job. So Phil's been a friend of mine since kindergarten. He had no problem. Save the money, get the hell out of here. Brought coffee and donuts, bills paid. So very appreciative of Phil and his sons helping me go through it. And from this point forward, the repair is going to be a very simple shock replacement. I'll go and videotape that, which will be rather boring, and put it on here. But that's what we got for now. So I've got most of my Saturday ready to go. It's only 9:30. Thanks for your time. Well, hi and welcome back. I have just had no luck at all bringing you guys live footage on this diagnosis and repair, unfortunately. But hopefully talking you through what to look for and how we found it is more valuable than, hey, how do I go take off an electric connector, a air line, and 2 bolts to change a shock. I had full intentions yesterday. I came and brought my camera out, my tripod, had it all set up here with the truck jacked up, tire off, waiting for my new part to arrive. To give you a little summary, at the shop on Saturday, we connected their Tech 2, which I guess has full control of a vehicle up to 2011 yet, and being a 2008, it was full functionality. The Tech 2 had the same issue where it said, hey, we cannot activate the damper test, but then it went and explained, since there is a fault in the system, it cannot run any dampener actuation tests, period. So at that point in time, Ryan cleared the fault, put in a jumper wire, and he was able to go round robin and get things going. So I was all set, brought out the tripod, got the camera set up, went to turn it on, and the battery was just completely dead. So by the time the part arrived, I wanted to get the truck back in service and check it out, so I didn't want to charge the camera 2-3 hours and then start on the job. So did go through it, and I want to kind of walk you through what I found when the new part arrived, where I got the part, the pricing, etc. So I think I mentioned previously that Rock Auto was, I believe, $290 for this part for the 2008 Z55 suspension, all-wheel drive. The proper part for me was a 580-1095. I believe I've got this right here. I don't know how well that is going to be zoomed in, but hopefully that's good for you. So again, Rock Auto was roughly $290. I had a 5% off loyalty discount. So with slow boat shipping, which I probably would have got it like Wednesday, today's Monday by the way, that would have cost me $315 to get it to my door. Amazon has a Delco store that also has it. I was able to order it from there under Prime Delivery, so that cost me $265 with tax $285, and my buddy's shop cost to get it from the local Delco warehouse would have been at least 50% more than that. So clearly check Amazon. They turned out to be the best for me. Rock Auto is also substantially better than anything else you can do. I did go with only the one shock because these were replaced about 33,000 miles ago. So, you know, we don't know if we're looking to use this vehicle another 2 years or 5 years. But my other shocks and struts were good. This was just a electronic failure. So again, I went to set up yesterday. When the new shock came in, I pulled out my multimeter here. I set it to the ohm setting in the 200 ohm range. I'll go and bring that in here. And with that, when I went and touched the 2 pins for the brand new one, I came up, the multimeter settled on 2.5 ohms within a second, and it was rock solid. It didn't vary at all. It just registered 2.5 ohms as long as I kept these leads steady. All data says the range that you're looking for is 0.7 to 3.3 ohms. So at that point, and I'm going to go zoom you in here. Hopefully you can see that multimeter, and we've got this going on. I'll put on my glasses here. So yesterday I went and ran this test on this one, and it was just like at the shop again. So, you know, at the shop we would read 400, 500, that was very abnormal, but we'd get anywhere from 5, 6, 0.1, 0.13, 0.2, etc. So yesterday when I ran this, I set it up here where it's sitting on top of my recycling bin. I got the same reading. When I came out this morning, this was laying on the ground. So evidently a little ghost at night, or maybe the dog ran by and just tapped it and it fell, so that this morning when I go to retest it, so that I could show you guys how erratic the readings were. I've got that is firmly on 1. Okay, so now I'm getting a reading Earlier this morning I was not, but it looks like I'm upside down, but I believe that's 0.04. Let me pull it backwards here. So of course this is making me a liar. I don't want to drop the shock again. 0.1. Point 0.13, 0.6. So, you know, we're getting all over, but I was surprised I got any reading. I thought it was damaged when it fell. So, go and zoom back out here. Let me see what that has. So the net is that this was not giving me reliable readings. I put the brand new one in, used my Autel scanner, cleared the C0590:04 code, did a quick startup here in the garage, passed that ignition cycle, so turned it off, put everything away. My wife and I took it out for pizza for dinner last night. So one start here going to the restaurant, and then a cold start from there coming back. So we've had 3 ignition cycles and everything's good. Based on how erratic the readings are off of this versus how rock solid the brand new part is, I have very strong confidence that that was the issue and we are all set. I was also told if you wind up with this air and you have the service suspension come up, what that is going to do is it's going to turn off the dynamic part of the magnetic ride control and just lock it at a base value, and you'll have that. So although this was failed, the airbag lifted, I still had the leveling control, and I still had shock functionality. It's just that it was no longer dynamic. If that air code was in the ignition cycle, which it probably was about 60% of the time, then I was working off a preset value for the MRC. If it cleared that ignition cycle, then it was working as it should. So anyway, sorry that we didn't have any live video, but like I said, if you're on here looking for assistance, you probably have the capability that you can figure out how to change a shock, and it's really more the diagnosis and how do you find out what the part is to change. So that's it for now. I hope this helped some of you out. If you're not subscribed, please like this if appropriate, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next time. See ya.